All right. Hello, friends, family, and followers. Thanks for tuning in again. Today, we're going to tap in on the top mistakes you do not want to make during a real estate transaction. So, we're going to focus primarily on the buyer today. So, let's get into it. All right. So, this list is in no particular order, right? But what we're going to start with is what I would consider number one. Do not start looking for a house or at houses prior to being pre approved. And the reason for this is you don't want to start looking at homes that are way above your affordability range and then to have your heart broken when the lender comes back to you and say, you're pre-approved or pre-qualified for X, right? So what you want to do is go out, get pre-approved, get pre-qualified first. Now you know your range, you get an idea of what the monthly payment would look like, and that's going to set you off in the best direction and a positive direction right out of the gate. Don't ignore the fact that your home will appreciate in value, and we're using historical data for this statement. This is one of my favorite parts of real estate is the ability to help a homeowner find a home and speaking to them down the road 5 to 7 years from now, and that home is worth X amount more than what they paid for it, right? So that's the beauty of real estate. Next, don't shop at the very top of your budget, please. Right? If you're approved for 700,000, that does not mean we have to buy a house at 700,000. That adds in a lot of other complications, right? If you're at the top of your budget, then likely your down payment amount is increasing. Now you're at the top of what you could afford for down payment. And does that leave room for other costs you may incur, not only during the shopping process, something like an inspection, or even after you've purchased a home? So please, please, please stay away from the top of your budget. Give yourself some room to breathe. Now, we're going to debunk this myth on this next one. Do not focus on saving 20%, right? And the reason why is because you really, as we can see in today's environment, can't outsave inflation. If you're paying rent somewhere, rent's going up every year, the cost of living is going up every year, you're trying to save 20% for a home. Well, guess what? That home is also increasing in value every year. So trying to save 20% is really a tough feat. Instead, focus on what you have access to, what's in your savings account, um, participating in down payment assistance programs that can help you get closer to that 20%. Now, I do recommend putting down as much money as you can comfortably because it's going to help prevent the increased amount for your mortgage premium insurance. But the myth of you have to have 20% is just that, a myth. Do not focus on that 20% number. You'll be better off getting into a home you can afford today and then allowing that home equity to increase and help you provide a stable base for your next home. Don't get too emotionally invested in a home. And the reason why is because there's other people looking at it. If you fall in love with the home, you're going to put yourself in a position where you actually may make a bad decision because you're so in love with this home. And by a bad decision, I'm going to use last spring, right? Overpaying for a home, $100,000, $150,000 because you love that home so much, to me, is not a good strategy. As a buyer, you have to be willing and ready to walk away if the deal does not fit your needs, right? So take some time, think about that, think about the scenario, and don't get too emotionally invested. Don't forget to do your own research, right? As your agent, I can guide you here or there. We could take a look at, homes, and, I'm giving you access to homes and I'm providing you the best of my knowledge to the area that you're searching in. However, do your own research as well. Go and take a look at the school districts. Take a look at crime rates. Take a look at what's going on in the surrounding area. Are there new development going on? Do you see, a new shopping center, new stores, or do you see a bunch of vacant commercial buildings in that area, right? So take the time to do your own research. That way you feel a little bit more comfortable about the process and what you have going on. Do not make any financial changes while under contract. And basically, what I mean by that, don't go out and buy a boat, don't go buy a car, don't make any major purchases as we are under contract and working our way towards closing, right? Stay away from that because that will derail you faster than the blink of an eye. And if you feel the need to make a major purchase or something's going on during that um, under contract process, talk to your loan officer, talk to your lender, ensure they're in the loop so they can guide you on the best direction to navigate to ensure you still get to closing. And don't forget about closing costs, right? Closing costs are typically 2 to 5%. When you sit down at the closing table, that's another check you have to write. So some people think, okay, I got my down payment money. Well, that's great. And this is another reason why we don't want to shop at the top of our budget. If I have 20% for 700,000 and I go under contract on something at 700,000, thinking that my 20% got me covered, well, then comes closing costs. So now we have to have funds to take care of some of those closing costs, whether there be fees, buy downs, obviously inspection is part of that, things like that. So, make sure you don't forget about closing costs. And finally, I'm going to touch on do not make a career change. Do not change the company you're working for if you're getting ready to start looking for a home, right? So this is the early phases. If you're getting ready to start looking for a home, you're ready to make that jump, you're ready to make that commitment, do not change your career. Now, if you go from one company to another, the career is the same and you moved over here because they're giving you a pay increase, generally your loan officer, your lender can work that out. But if you completely change career, that's a tough one. And that's one that can very easily get your loan rejected, right? So here's a few tips. Keep these items in mind as you start your home buying process. John Nichols here with Coldwell Banker Realty. Really want to help you any way I can. I can be reached directly at 720-877-1940. I'm based out of the Denver and Denver metro area. Very well experienced and versed and more than happy to help. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe as I will be producing more videos to help you through this process. Thank you.